In the ruins of a great tower between Nineveh and Babylon lived the king of the snakes, ruler of all snakes on land and sea. One day he received a letter from his son, the viceroy of Diyarbakir province. It read, "Long live the king. May heaven grant you eternal life. I write to inform you that your daughter-in-law and grandchildren fell ill last summer. The doctors advised a change of climate, recommending Mount Ararat for its pure streams and fragrant flowers. I sent them there with their attendants and wrote to local officials requesting assistance during their stay. However, the Prince of Azerbaijan, instead of helping, attacked the princess and her group. A fierce battle erupted at the foot of Mount Ararat. The princess's guards fought bravely, but they were outnumbered. Victory seemed unlikely until a human named Simon, the shepherd, came to their aid. With his great club, he beat back the attackers, saving your daughter-in-law's life. Father, there is good even among humans. I will punish the Prince of Azerbaijan for his treachery, but I leave it to you to reward Simon's noble deed as you see fit. Your affectionate son." Upon reading this, the Snake King gathered a vast treasure of gold and jewels and travelled to his palace between Aleppo and Diyarbakir. He posted lookouts along the highways, instructing them to alert him when Simon passed by. Simon worked for livestock dealers who traded between Damascus and Aleppo. As he approached the Snake King's palace, on his way to Aleppo, the lookouts alerted their ruler. In an instant, the entire snake army assembled near the highway and began to cast a spell. Simon suddenly felt dizzy. The world around him seemed to shift and change. He stood there, bewitched, as his companions continued on without him. When he finally opened his eyes, he found himself surrounded by countless snakes of all sizes and colors. On a golden throne sat an enormous snake, as thick as an elephant, wearing a crown of precious jewels and diamonds. One of the snakes read aloud a proclamation praising Simon's kindness, his fondness for snakes, and his brave defense of the weak. The Snake King then addressed Simon, "Noble human, here is gold, precious jewels, and diamonds for you. Take as much as you like, and if you have any other desire in your heart, tell me, and I will grant it." Simon filled his shepherd's bag and pockets with treasure, then said, "I wish to understand the language of all animals, reptiles and birds." "So be it," replied the king. "But remember this, the day you tell anyone about what you've seen or heard, you will die." With that, the spell was lifted, the snakes vanished, and Simon found himself back on the road to his home near Mount Ararat. As Simon journeyed home, he began to hear animals talking. To his amazement, they seemed to know all the secrets of humans and could even predict future events. Sometimes he laughed at what he heard, and other times he was so terrified that his hair stood on end. When he entered his village, he heard dogs, cats, chickens, and even long-legged storks calling out to each other, "Simon the shepherd has returned. His bag and pockets are full of gold and jewels." Simon arrived home and showed his wife the treasure. Curious as she was, she immediately asked where he had gotten so much wealth. "Just enjoy it," Simon replied. "Don't ask questions." As days passed, Simon found himself laughing or growing angry at the secrets he overheard from the animals around his house. His wife noticed this strange behavior and kept asking for an explanation. Simon refused to tell her, but she persisted, begging and weeping. Finally, unable to resist her pleas any longer, he promised to tell her everything the next day. That evening, Simon overheard a conversation between his dog and the rooster. The dog said, "Tell me, Master Rooster, what's the point of your chuckling and strutting? Our master has promised to tell his wife everything tomorrow. He'll die, and then people will come to kill you, shoot me, and destroy everything that belongs to our master." The rooster replied contemptuously, "The sooner it's ruined, the better. I have 40 wives, all obedient to me. If our master were as wise as he is rich, he wouldn't give in to his wife's pointless curiosity. He wouldn't die, and no harm would come to us or his house. As it is, he deserves what's coming to him." Hearing this, Simon suddenly realized his mistake. He grabbed his large club and confronted his wife, saying, "Wife, you must stop trying to force me to reveal my secret. Be content with what you have, or, by heaven, I'll beat you to death." Seeing the club raised above her head, his wife immediately stopped her inquiries. From that day forward, they lived a happy life together, enjoying their wealth without further questions.